Hey, what's up, everyone? Hey, it's March Madness, so we're going to do something a little cool over the next few weeks. After each weekend of tournament games, I'm going to be joined with my friend, Zach Vincent. He's a big Duke fan, but after every weekend, we're going to sit down, discuss the games that happen. We're going to do a little preview of the weekend to come. And so first, let's just introduce Zach. What's up, man?
What's up? What's happening?
Dude, how's it going?
It's good, especially after 2 Duke wins over the past weekend.
Well, because it was a breath of fresh air after like that stretch of a week or two where we lost to Carolina, lost to State. I felt like fans were kind of up in their feels. I don't know. How are you feeling going into March Madness?
I mean, it's hard to put too much into any win or loss. Obviously, what we had seen the past week wasn't the most encouraging, but I definitely had faith that they would turn it around and they'd have plenty of motivation heading into March Madness for sure.
Well, look, before we get too deep into the NCAA tournament, I've got to rag on you a little bit, and we were talking about it before. So how many games have we been to together, Zach?
We have only – oh, I'm sorry.
No, we've been to a couple.
We've been to 2 together.
Okay.
I believe.
Uh-huh.
I think that's right.
Yes, at least 2.
So we've been to Duke at Virginia.
Which was great.
Awesome game.
Yeah.
Good game.
Atmosphere
tight game.
was incredible.
Duke won that game.
Yep.
And then there's the home game against none other than Stephen F. Austin.
What was it, like a 20?
It was like a 20 or so year streak of non-conference
Mm-hmm.
home winning streak that may have gotten snapped that game.
And it took Zach Vincent showing up. And do you know what's even more sad about that, man? Those were tickets that my mom bought me and Colton for Christmas. And she said, y'all take a friend to the Duke game. We took you, and then we lost.
Yeah, that was my first ever game too. So,
but yeah, it was the biggest upset, I think, in 20 years as far as the spread goes.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah. And because they won on a buzzer beater, and wasn't it in overtime? I'm pretty sure.
I believe it went to overtime.
Yeah, it went in overtime, and then it was like, I can't remember what happened, but I remember they got the ball and they ran down. It was 3 seconds. It felt like 30 minutes, and I'm like, Lord, please don't let them make it to the end by the end of the 3 seconds. So then they got down, man, and then they freaking hit the buzzer beater. I remember I was so mad.
Oh, it was actually. Oh no, it was overtime. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it was
overtime.
overtime.
Yep, it was overtime, buzzer beater, layup, and I was so mad. I went to the next home game because I wanted to erase that as quick as possible.
Without me, of course, and they won.
You darn right I went without you. So what is Duke's record when you attend games?
All right.
Go ahead.
So, we have 1-1 from those 2 games that we've been together.
Mm-hmm.
I have been to a game at NC State, which of course Duke always struggles.
Because you went to State, right?
I went to NC State. Yep.
Yeah.
Set courtside for that one. That one was not any more fun.
Hey, did we lose that by like 20 points?
Yes. Yeah. It was at least 20.
Because I remember you texted me, I think, in the first few minutes, I'm pretty sure we were down by like 10 points.
Yeah. I mean, that game started off terrible from the jump.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And then we also have, this year I went to Duke versus Queens, which was, I mean, obviously a win.
Right.
And then last year I went to Duke versus Wake Forest at Wake Forest, and that was also a loss. So, not a great record when I'm at games. Especially considering what their record is outside of that. So maybe I might just sit games out if I really want Duke to win.
I remember you texted me. Gosh, it was for one of the games, I think this season or last season. You texted me, and it was a big game. We're like, hey, I'm thinking about going to this game. And I just remember saying, absolutely not, you're not going to that game. We've got to win this game.
Yeah, exactly. I've always told people if I get Final Four tickets for free, I'll just give them away. Because I'd rather see them win than go to lose.
Because I've only seen Duke lose once. They lost to Stephen F. Austin, but every other game I've seen them, I saw them win the championship game against Virginia last year.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
That's definitely awesome.
And that was a whole experience. If people want to hear about that experience, just go back and listen to that podcast episode. But, all right, man. So, NCAA tournament, it's been 2 rounds past. Now we're on to the Sweet 16. Down to 16, but let's go ahead and talk about some of the games that happened this past weekend. There were some really good games. Do any games stick out to you?
Well, first off is last night's game, Texas A&M and Houston.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were all tuning into that one as Duke fans, trying to see who we were going to be up against next round. I mean, just an awesome basketball game. Crazy comeback at the end.
Yeah.
Overtime win for Houston.
Right.
That's one game that definitely stood out. And, I mean, one thing about March Madness is it's always cool to see those upsets.
Yeah.
So, like, the Yale over Auburn game was pretty cool to see. Grand Canyon, who I actually – this is pretty random, but I actually am a big fan of. I've seen them play quite a few times over the past few years. And
Grand Canyon.
I love Grand Canyon. Their fans –
Where'd you see them play at?
I haven't seen them play. I just mean like watching on TV or something.
I got you.
But I mean, I'm definitely not going to say their fans are on the level of Duke fans, but they have some of the top tier fans in the country, and they're exciting to watch.
Yeah, dude. Okay, yeah. So the Houston and Texas A&M, because when he made that buzzer shot to go in overtime, I was watching it with Leah, and I just went, I can't believe we just saw that. Because I feel like I always ever see buzzer shots in like highlight videos. I feel like it's rare that you're actually watching TV in real time and then you see a buzzer beater. So that was just a cool moment. I'm like, this is March Madness.
Yeah.
Well, there were some other good games yesterday too. Should we just go ahead and talk about it?
Let's get right into it.
Yeah, man. Duke, James Madison University. And I've had a couple people tell me, bro, it's James Madison University. And my dog's playing this. Duke! Stop! No! All right, so should we just go ahead and talk about it? Duke, James Madison University. I've had a couple people tell me, Justin, it's just James Madison University. I went, yeah, it's just James Madison University. Who just beat Wisconsin, who is, I think, top 14 in offense, top 20 in defense. And I could be wrong about those. Regardless, dude, to win a game by what was the final score? The final score
I want to say 55-93, right?
Yeah, 55-93, dude. 14 3-pointers. Duke shot overall 50%.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not a game that Duke should lose. They're expected to win, but definitely don't get it twisted. I mean, JMU is a very, very good, solid team. I mean, they wouldn't be where they're at without it. They beat Michigan State first game of the season.
Yeah, they sure did.
Only had 3 losses going into the tournament. I mean, they were seriously actually a good team. I mean, just not one of those random teams that get in by luck.
And if Duke fans are honest, I think we were actually nervous going into that game. We texted before the game.
I will say
you texted me.
I was not expecting Duke to lose, of course.
Right.
But I was a little bit nervous that it would be like a grinded out kind of game.
Right.
One of those games that you kind of have to pull away at the end. Because, I mean, just JMU, I mean, they play super hard. They're super experienced. And those type of teams can give Duke trouble at times.
Yeah, they can.
So, like I said, I wasn't expecting them to lose or anything. But I was expecting it to be pretty tight the whole way through.
Yeah. And the key, I thought, Duke just came out strong. And there's been a couple games where we did not come out strong. For example, Carolina, NC State, where maybe we actually outplayed them in the second half, but because we didn't start off strong, it was just a recipe for disaster. But this game, man, Duke started off strong, and then you get the play of Jared McKim.
Yeah.
Jared McKim, man. Dude, speak to him for a moment.
That was just special. I mean, of all these crazy talented freshmen Duke's had, I mean, that's one of the best tournament games we've seen from anybody.
30 points.
30 points. And, I mean, he hit 22 at halftime, almost outscored them at halftime. Set the record for most threes of any Duke player in a game.
What was that? Did he hit 8?
Eight of them. And he didn't even obviously get to play very much of the last, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
John Shire took him out, man. They were joking on John after the game in the press conference. They said, yeah, he took us out because he didn't want us breaking more records. So,
yeah. I mean, just crazy performance by him. Yeah. Overall, the team just played like so good. I mean, one of their best games of the season, and that's what you want when you're in March. You want to play your best basketball. So.
And that's with some injuries. And I was a little worried. So when Jeremy Roach went out kind of early, because it looked like he broke or did something to his finger, and then of course they wrapped it up. I'm like, man, how's his shooting gonna be? Well, Jeremy Roach came in, played like a baller, man. I mean, made shots, made some clutch plays. He was just really good. But let's go ahead and make maybe the Carolina fans happy and the state fans. Let's talk about them for a moment, because Duke's not the only ACC team in the tournament. You got also Clemson, Carolina, and State. I mean, let's talk about Carolina for a moment. Just kind of when you're looking at Carolina, man, what are you thinking?
I mean, it's no surprise. I mean, they've been very, very good all season. great team. As much as I hate to admit it, great team. I mean, they beat us twice. Do I think we could beat them? Absolutely. Right. But I mean, it's just. I mean, they have the experience. They have shooting. I mean, they have a little bit of everything. I mean, they're a tough team to beat. And they're one of those teams that's built for March.
Right.
But yeah, they've been impressive.
Yeah.
Super impressive too. And like you mentioned already, all the ACC teams.
Yeah.
I mean,
NC State, man.
They just keep finding ways to win.
Someone asked me today. They said, Justin, is State one of those teams where it's just a matter of it's going to run out eventually, and then they're going to flop? I mean, would you say they're a Cinderella team or are they a legit team?
I mean, I would say probably they're more of a Cinderella team. Not that they don't have good players, not that they can, they're not capable, but I think a lot of it just comes down to their heart. I mean, they've played, I think they've won 7 games in about 11, 12 days or something like that, which is, I mean, unheard of.
Yep.
So the fact that they can come out every game and play harder and more heart, more energy, first ones on the floor after playing so many games like that, I mean, you got to just tip your hat off to them. So, I mean, the way they're playing right now, they could beat anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already went through Carolina, already went through Duke.
Yep. They and they just beat Texas Tech, right? And so now Clemson just beat Baylor. Man, so for all the narrative of the ACC's in a down whatever year, it's just bullcrap, man. Yeah. Because I wouldn't be surprised if we had at least 2 ACC teams in the Elite Eight, and who knows what we could have come Final Four.
Exactly. I mean, last year had Miami. Year before that, obviously, we're not going to speak about specifics, but the year before that, there was 2 Final Four teams from the ACC.
Yeah.
I mean, it's year in, year out. Yeah. They always prove themselves in March.
Well, now we've got the Sweet 16 coming up, and I guess we can start with the ACC teams. So you got Carolina and Alabama, bro. That is probably just going to be a great game, regardless of the winner.
Should be super high scoring. Yeah. Both teams can definitely score a lot.
And I haven't really seen Alabama play much this year, but typically I feel like they're a pretty physical program. Yeah. So I'm curious to see how the battle is going to be. The tank for that with Baycott and but that should be a great game. We'll see what happens. Of course, the Duke fan in me wants Carolina to go down.
For sure.
Because the fans are on a different level right now for Carolina. Their fans are, man, they're a lot for me right now. But now, so you got Clemson and Arizona. Ugh. Yeah. Do you realize what could happen here?
What's that? Oh, the Arizona. Yeah. And I definitely saw that the moment the bracket came out.
Yeah. I'm like, they are trying to set up a Caleb Love and Carolina matchup. Hey,
my prediction.
I'm here for it.
My prediction is that it will happen.
I'm here for it.
I think it's going to happen. I think both teams will advance. I mean, Clemson's a super, super good team. I mean, they can hang in with anyone to just beat Baylor. They've played it really close with Duke. Did they beat UNC? I'm not sure. I know they played it close with them too.
I don't know.
But I just think Arizona. I mean,
all I know is they beat Duke, and that's all. That was the tough one.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, they have Arizona. That is,
they're a great team.
They have guards. They have big men. They play fast. I mean, they can score a lot too. So they were one of my popular picks. I think I'm a little bit higher on Arizona than some.
Right. I'm with you on that. And now you got NC State and Marquette. We're going to see what NC State's really made of, I think, now.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, okay, cool. You've been on a run. They're about to meet a powerhouse program in Marquette. I mean, a number 2 seed, obviously, but Marquette's good, man.
Yeah, they are.
I've seen some clips, some highlights, and I don't know. My unbiased prediction, and I'm not saying this just solely because I don't like State. I think they might hang for the first 5 minutes, and then I think we might see that one just get, taken down.
I could see that. I mean, I don't really want to see it end for them just yet. I mean, I'd love for State to go as far as they can too, which obviously if they win and Duke win, they'd be facing off. So that would be where I'd want it to end. But, I mean, I'm a State supporter. I mean, I went to school there. Always have had a little bit of I wouldn't say I'm a fan, but I've always had support for them.
Yeah. And he went to school there, so it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think this is the end of the road for them.
Yeah. But, dude, what a road it's been.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's something to celebrate. I mean.
Yeah. And State, they will put a banner up for making it to the Sweet 16. You know what I mean? They're going to put up the ACC championship banner. So
as they should.
It's been a good year. Their coach Keats, he just extended his career
he did.
Quite a bit. He needed it, honestly.
I think he did. I think he played himself into an extension because I'm not so sure if he would have made it too much longer.
And again, I'm not a part of the of the coaching staff committee or any of that for State. I feel like he was on the hot seat, but man, what a statement year it was for Keats, regardless of what his position was. Great year. Congratulations to State fans. Y'all deserve it, but fans, pipe down a little bit, okay? My goodness, man. The State fans are something else.
Definitely, especially the ACC championship. Enjoy your moment.
Right.
Talk your smack. But I wouldn't quite put you on the level of some other teams just yet.
Right, because at the end of the day, it was your first championship since 1987. We'll leave it at that. Now, bro, we've got Duke, Houston.
Big one.
I think of all the games we just talked about, I think this will be the best one. I think this one is going to come down to the wire. I think it's going to come down to the last shot, honestly.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like, legit, I really could see it going either way. I think the biggest key is, does Duke hit their shots? Does Jeremy Kane get some good looks? And, and does Kyle Filipowski play tough in the paint? You know what I mean?
I think that's my key.
Right.
I've been pretty skeptical of him this year.
Yeah.
I mean, love him to death. Super talented, but there's definitely games where it feels like he may not be bringing it all or bringing his best. And Duke's definitely going to need that from here on out. No doubt about it. And like I said, I've been a skeptic. But I will say, even in that first round game against Vermont, he did not hit a field goal.
Right.
Only took one shot, 3 total points. But I do think he played an excellent game.
Dude, yeah.
Because it goes beyond scoring. I mean, Vermont was similar to JMU. They didn't really have much size. So whenever he got the ball, if you were watching, I mean, just an instant double team. So he really had no opportunities to score.
Yeah.
But he made great passes, played great defense.
Yeah.
I mean, he impacted the game everywhere else. So that actually was one of my favorite Filipowski games of the season, is a game that he scored 3.
Yeah.
And he's had games where he scored 20. I didn't necessarily like the way he played. Right. So,
but he worked his butt off in that game.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
against Vermont. I mean, he worked his butt off, and he got open shots for others.
Yeah.
And he had, was it 12 rebounds, I think? I have to look at the stats up.
Something around there.
He had a really good game, and sometimes, score or like your score sheet doesn't always equal a good game. Because really, you can have a good game in so many different ways, even some ways that don't show up on a stat sheet.
Oh, without a doubt. But yeah, I mean, it's no secret that we're going to need some of his best if we want to continue this run to the Final Four, especially playing against a team like Houston. I mean, they have been, in my opinion, like the 1A, 1B with UConn for basically the entire season. They're another team with experienced guards, super good guards. I mean, everyone across the board for them, good. I mean, bigs are good. And they play super hard, super great defense. I'm pretty sure they're the number 1 ranked defense in the country.
I think so.
There's a little bit of inconsistency with their offense, but that's most teams.
And they just scored almost 100 points last night.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they showed that they can fill it up too.
But then again, they also allowed last night 90s on points. So I think Duke's they're going to have fun looking at some film this week and and getting some game plans and I'm just kind of riding on that Jeremy Roach hype. I'm like, man, senior year, his last year, Roach in March.
Yeah, always steps it up.
Yeah. So I think we could see some crazy clutch shots coming from Roach.
Yep. And then you got Jamal Shedd on the other side for Houston. Same thing with him. I mean, that's what I always say
Lord
is
help us.
In March. I believe that the most valuable thing you can have is that experienced upperclassman guard who's been there, can hit the big shots when you need them, lead the offense, lead the team, because the point guards are, for the most part, like the quarterbacks of the team.
Right.
And it's huge. That's why I was so happy to see Roach come back, and that's why I'm really hoping he comes back again next year. But we'll see how that goes. But, yeah, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Duke can win the game.
Right.
but I also can't sit here and say, yeah, we got this for sure. I mean, just being completely non-biased, it's going to be super tough.
Yeah.
Hard fought game, one way or the other.
So as of this moment, and we'll ask this question each like episode until it's all over. As of this moment, unbiased, realistic, who would you say is going to be in the final championship game?
Well,
unbiased, because I know who I would say.
I will probably get a little bit of hate for this, but when I made my bracket at the very start, the final four that I picked was Houston, Tennessee. I had Arizona beating UNC in the Elite Eight, and then my fourth team, who is already out of the tournament, Auburn. And that was definitely a hot take because I had them beating UConn in the Sweet 16.
Right.
And we see how that goes. Auburn is at home, and UConn's looking like they will not lose to anybody.
Yeah.
So if I had to make a prediction now, it's hard. It's so hard to pick against UConn in the moment.
I know. I just feel like they're going to choke personally, but
they definitely could. Yeah. I mean, all it takes is one slip up.
That's right.
I mean, that's the beauty of it. So you have to play 6 games. You have to win 6 games. So
it's not like the NBA where you have finals and it's like the first to get 4 wins. Like March Madness, it's win or lose, bro.
Yep. You don't bring it for 10 minutes of one game. That could be the difference in your season right there.
Yeah. All right. So you're saying in the final championship game, you're saying UConn?
Yeah, UConn. I mean, I'm super torn. I mean, the other side of the bracket, I believe it would be Duke and Houston's region, and it would be, I believe it's the Tennessee-Purdue region.
Yeah.
Would be who would. It's so tough. I mean, there's a lot of teams playing really good.
I know.
I mean, Duke's playing really well. Houston's playing really well. Gonzaga and Purdue.
Right.
And then, I mean, Tennessee and Creighton. Every team in the Sweet 16 is playing super good
but you got to pick one.
I have to pick one.
Yes. So we can look back, you know what I mean? And we can see how far off we were or how spot on we were. Because I tell you mine as well.
I hate to say this. I really hate to say it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Houston. Wow. I'm definitely going to root against that pick.
Right.
But that's just my complete non-biased opinion.
So UConn and Houston. Okay.
Yep, which is kind of a boring pick. They're kind of the top 2, but I just don't know. Yeah. I mean, there's other teams I feel like have more consistency issues. So
for me, right now, gosh, I want to say Arizona and Duke.
Yeah.
But I think realistically, it's probably looking more like Houston and Carolina. And then now that's my unbiased opinion.
Yeah.
And my initial bracket, bro, I had Kentucky going all the way, and we saw how that looked.
I had them Elite Eight.
And I know they were so young and this, that, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, man. I just saw Kentucky play some games, and I'm like, this team has it. They just could not keep it consistently, and they should definitely look at John Calipari. But too bad for them. Lifetime contract, $33 million buyout.
Yeah, things need to turn the other way for them pretty soon because the last 5 or 6 years has not been great for them. I'm pretty sure they have 1 tournament win in 5 years, I think.
In 4 years, yeah.
4 years,
yep.
Which is not their standard.
But I think, and I could be wrong, I think they also only have 1 win in their conference tournament in 4 years.
Yeah,
I saw that stat on Twitter. Don't quote me on that, but I saw that tweet and I'm like, man, that's actually crazy.
That's definitely not what you want.
But to Kentucky fans, I think some Kentucky fans view the NBA talent as championships, and I can kind of understand that. I mean, because gosh, man, look at some of the NBA talent that's come from Kentucky.
Oh yeah, they're the only school that could rival Duke's.
Yep.
Really, I mean, those are the top 2 for sure.
But hey, shout out Q-Tip. I was pulling for Kentucky just for Q-Tip. For our boy Q-Tip.
I usually don't pull for him, but
I know. But I was doing it for my boy Q-Tip, and he told me he's rooting for now that Kentucky's out. But I told him I wouldn't tell anybody. But I pulled for his team, so
I got an idea.
Exactly. Yeah. He's my boy. Well, all right, dude. Like everyone, that's week 1 or the first weekend wrap up of NCAA tournament. A lot of games coming up to look forward to in week 2. We're also going to recap next week, but before we end, Zach, Because obviously you played basketball, really, I mean, basically like your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So you played for high school, right?
Yep.
Did you play AU?
I did.
Okay,
Played a lot.
All right.
A lot of AAU.
Yeah. Oh, so it's AAU.
Yeah, AAU.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That shows you how much I know. So for you, if you were to get in front of a group of high school kids right now, or just like AAU kids, and they're just like they're hungry for just something, just like a drop of wisdom, what would you tell them? And I know I didn't give you this question ahead of time, so it's like actually on the spot. But
I mean, it's kind of like you hear it from everybody, but it's so true. I mean, you have to work. I mean, it's just the truth. You don't just wake up and you're able to shoot at a Division I level. You don't just wake up and you play defense at a Division I level. And I see a lot of people who I feel like can be really good, but they just don't have that work ethic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a day in and day out thing because not everyone's blessed to be 6'8". Not that, tall guys or fast, athletic guys are not skilled too, but some people just don't have some advantages others might.
Right.
And, I mean, it requires so much work. I mean, every day, I didn't even end up playing in college, but, I mean, I worked so hard for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I was very happy with how much I improved.
Yeah. You hold the record, don't you?
I do. Okay. I hold a single game record at Grand Rapids High School for threes.
Yep. I remember that game, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, that was an awesome night. It was senior night. So.
Do you remember how many threes that is?
It was 8.
Okay.
So not a ton. Same as what Jared hit yesterday.
Zach McCain, son. Yeah.
So I put up a lot though. Don't get it twisted. I put up a lot.
Right.
I made it a point that I was going to put up a lot. 16, so 50% on the nose, which is good, but
say that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I went into it.
I would say 40% and up is good.
That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, I went into a game definitely knowing I was going to put up quite a few.
Could be like a senior night, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but me being me, all I could focus on was the ones that I missed.
Right.
Like I was like, man, I could have hit about 3 or 4 more for sure.
Yeah.
And that would have been really cool. But I mean, end of the day, it was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's good, man. I need to get your brother up here sometime to talk about wrestling.
Yeah, he'd be the guy if you want to hear wrestling.
He snaps me every week during wrestling and during all the premium live events because not called pay-per-views anymore. And he was at the Raw last week, right?
He was, yeah. Raleigh.
I was there too, and so we were snapping each other. That's a funny dude right there, man.
Yeah.
So maybe after WrestleMania, I'm going to get him up here and to talk trash to him after Roman Reigns retains his title.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he's rooting for Cody.
He's a big Cody guy. I do know that. I don't know a ton about it.
He's one of the Cody crybabies, yeah.
I don't know a whole lot about what's going on right now, but I know enough from him to know that he's all aboard the Cody train.
Yeah.
He was telling me about some stuff right before I headed over here, actually. So
yeah, because right now Raw's on. So
yeah, it just cut on.
I'm gonna watch as soon as we get done. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, dude. Well, hey, man, thanks for coming over to the house. I guess you're gonna be here next week too, and we'll talk more college basketball. And hopefully next week when we do our recap, we're still gonna have Duke in the conversation for the week to come. So
definitely hope so.
All right, everybody. Well, hey, make sure y'all like this, subscribe, follow. Stay along with us on this journey of NCAA because March Madness, the tournament, will also conclude season 1 of Jesus Take the 3. Until next time, peace out, everybody.
Go Duke.
Yes, sir.